First of all, just to say thank you very much for coming this evening. And my name's Mrs. Finlayson. I'm a careers advisor. I see all the students in years 10, 11, 12 and 13 within the trust. And really, tonight is all about helping you to sort of navigate Unifrog and to help your young person to use it, because it's such a fantastic resource that we have that the students can use and you can use alongside them. And so I'll go through a PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to actually share some a live demo with you so you can actually see how to use Unifrog, and we can just work our way around it. So once again, thank you very much for joining me this evening. And I just wanted to ask if perhaps we could save any questions until the end. And then you can either say them verbally, you can unmute yourself, or you can perhaps write them in the chat. And that would be fantastic. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start with the presentation. And we're going to look at making the most out of Unifrog. So what is Unifrog? So some of you might be new to it. Some of you might have used it before, seen your young person use it. So no matter where you are with it, let's just have an overview of what Unifrog is. So it's essentially a careers platform, and it's all about helping students to figure out the right destination for them at different points within their school life and beyond. And it's very important that they really find the right thing for them, and that's what Unifrog's all about. So Unifrog, the trust have actually paid for Unifrog to be accessible for all students within the Maiden Early Trust, and it's to help them, as I say, discover what's best for them, and that's really the basis behind Unifrog. And Unifrog do this by getting everything in one place. So it's basically a one-stop shop where students can explore what they're interested in, what they're good at, so they look at their skills, and then hopefully they can find and successfully apply for their best next step after school, whether or not that be leaving school and going to college or an apprenticeship when they're 16, or when they're 18 or 19 potentially. So there's a number of tools that you can use within Unifrog, and I just wanted to point out all the different sections within Unifrog. So you've got the Exploring Pathways section, which includes a careers library. They can also look at subjects to see where different subjects can lead them. And then we've got various other ones that I'll go through when we actually do the live demo, because it might make it a little bit more meaningful. This section here, the students can record what they've done. So they can actually record their activities, extracurricular activities, academic activities that they've done. They can also record skills that they're developing. And this is all great for future applications and to help students see their progress and see what they're good at, and really help them to feel more confident. For students who are in year 12 and 13, they can look up universities, not only in the UK, but around the whole world. And you'll see that list there. They can also look up special opportunities, so scholarships and internships and competitions where they can perhaps get some prize money for writing an essay, and that can all go towards their future studies, or whatever it is they might need that for. We've also got a section here on drafting applications, and that includes CVs. That's something that's open to pretty much all the year groups, but some of them are just for the year 12 and 13 students. And then they can also start adding things to a locker, and they can share their post-18 intentions and really start to build up a picture of where they're heading, and it's all in one place, which is what makes it so fantastic. So I just wanted to show you a few of the tools that that students can use within Unifrog. So the first one is that they can use something called a careers library. And there's over 1,000 different career profiles, and there'll be all sorts of information ranging from what a job will involve day to day, what hours they might have to work if they do that job, how they can progress within that career, the types of skills needed for that type of job, labour market information, and also how to get into that job. So it will show students what kind of qualifications they need. And so there are sometimes videos within these job profiles. So here it's showing a job at the top of a job profile for architect. But honestly, they're absolutely fantastic. And it really gives students a taste of what different jobs involve. So this is what the careers library page looks like, or at least part of it. And I will go through that with you in the live demo. But what students can do is they can either put in keywords, and that can be anything from a subject, a school subject, to an actual job or a job sector. It might be something like law, it might be something like a particular job like an interior designer or a marine biologist. And they can also put in school subjects that they're thinking of taking at any later stage. So that's the careers library. The next one is for students really in years 12 and 13, and they can look up universities, and they can get some fantastic information about subjects that they might be interested in studying, what grades are required if they want to study those subjects, how the universities are ranked, and also number of hours of lectures, the price of accommodation, graduate job rates. So there's all sorts of data on here that students can look at, and they can also link up to the specific website for that university. So and they can look at when open days are held, etc. And they can shortlist any particular universities or courses that they're interested in doing. So that's a little bit further down the line than maybe some of your young people are ready for, but I just wanted to point out some of the things that you can do on this website. Students can also look up apprenticeships, and the great thing about this website is it links to the government apprenticeship website. So when students are searching, they can be reassured that when they're looking for apprenticeships, it will also link up to the opportunities that can be found on the government website. And it's a live apprenticeship website where they can see updates daily. It's absolutely live, as I say, by the moment. And if a company is listing a new opportunity, it will be there for all the students to see, and they can actually discover so much information about each apprenticeship, how much they might earn, what type of skills the company are looking for, what the entry requirements are. So for example, what GCSEs or A-levels or BTECs, what kind of grades they might need. And it also gives them information about the apprenticeship itself, of course, and they can learn about the employer as well. And they can also shortlist the types of opportunities that they are really interested in. So I'll show you that link at a later point this evening. The other one I wanted to show you was the special opportunities tool. And this is where students, as you can see here, they can look at not only scholarships, but also activities that they can do, where they can look to see, okay, what open days are available, summer schools that are available, where students can perhaps go and taste what it's like to attend a university, and also potentially contextual offers. So there's lots and lots of information on this page where students can find out how they can perhaps get some extra funding if required. And they can also enter competitions like essay competitions and other competitions through opportunities advertised on this page. So that is very useful as well. So GDPR, that's very important, and they take it very seriously at Unifrog. And it means that data protection is taken very seriously by Unifrog, and so they have special features to protect the school and all the student data, because every single student who is using Unifrog, their data is on there. So it will be their school email. Some of the students may change that to their personal email. It will be their tutor, their form class, and but there won't be any further details like their address. However, they can add their postcode if they wish, so that they can search for opportunities, and it will be directly related to where they live, and it will tell them how far they need to travel, for example, to an apprenticeship or to a university. So yeah, so they have these firewalls, they have layered access security, so they really do take security seriously. So we just wanted to reassure you about data protection. So I just wanted to share how students can sign in. So if your son or daughter, your young person is struggling to sign in, then what they can do is they can go to this page, and essentially it's just www.unifrog.org, and all the students should know this, but I know that sometimes students can struggle, and there might be challenges that they're facing with gaining access. So if any of your young people are struggling, please ask them to speak to their tutor, and we will get them on Unifrog. But equally, you might be able to help them as well, and I'll just show you how you can do that potentially. So if you go to the sign in tab in the top right hand corner, so if I go back again, if you click that sign in button there, then you will be able to see that you can reset a password, or potentially even resend a welcome email. And once you get to the page, what you would do is you would click this link, reset password or resend welcome email, and then the student will be able to type in their school email address, because that will be what will have been uploaded, or whatever is on Bromcom. So whatever email is on Bromcom for that student will be uploaded onto Unifrog. They will type in their email, and then they will check their school email, and then they will need to check also junk and spam, just in case it's gone in there, and then just follow the instructions in order to reset their password. Okay, so why use Unifrog? Well, we really want to encourage every student to use Unifrog, because we know the benefits, and hopefully you'll see those even more when I do the live demo. But some of the things that we wanted to share as benefits include that it's just one stop for the students to use. They can literally search everything on there, and they can keep documents on there. They can upload documents. They can create a CV on this website. They can download it. They can correspond with tutors. They can ask for advice, and they can save favorites. So favorite job profiles, favorite universities, favorite sixth forms. It's all there for them. They can, as I said, they can collate documents on there, so they can upload documents that they might want to keep in that one place. And they can also take personality quizzes, and that they can refer to these things when they're writing applications, either for university or for apprenticeships. They can store the skills that they have. They can record where they achieve where they gain these skills, how they're developing them, and I'll show you this when we do the live demo. It also allows students to keep track of what can be quite overwhelming, really. So if they keep going onto Unifrog and using it on a regular basis, it can really help them to grow in confidence. And I think that's one of the main things I see and notice when I really observe students using it to its full potential. And also they can discover unique opportunities. There are also online courses that students can potentially do on this website. They can look up the scholarship opportunities, and they can also look up apprenticeships. So it's definitely something that we're encouraging all students to use, and not just in the year groups where they're making decisions, but right from year 7. And just on that note, year 7 students, because we had the issue with the cyber attack, it has meant that we've been a little bit slower than normal in uploading data for the year 7 students. So soon they will have access as well. So I just wanted to reassure you about that. So now we're going to do a live demo. So I shall come out of this page and go on to another page. Bear with me. I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. And I'm going to share. Actually, just need to go on that one. Okay, so let me just quickly check the chat because I can see a few people. Great. So some people. Okay. Great, so it's all working fine. Hopefully everybody can hear me and see what I'm doing here. Can I just do a check? Can everybody see this screen that I'm sharing now? Might somebody just be able to put in the chat if they can see it? Brilliant. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Kate. Everybody, thank you. That's brilliant. Okay, so this is essentially the homepage for Unifrog, and every single student's homepage will welcome them with their name. So mine says, hello, Anna, this is my my own page. But every student will look slightly different depending on what year they're in. So if I scroll down, you will see that there are tools here. Now, not every student, depending on the year they're in, not every student will have all of these tools, okay? So students in year 12 and 13 will have the universities and personal statement tools, right? Subject reference, that type of thing. So students in lower year groups will not have all of these tools, okay? But I wanted to point out some of the ones that I think you might find particularly helpful. And the first one I want to mention is the know-how library. So if we click on that tool, what I explain to students, actually, let me just go back one. What I explain to students is that if they're stuck with any of the tools on this page, for example, they're thinking, well, I don't know how to create my CV, I don't know how to use this tool, or they're not sure how to use the apprenticeships tool, or the activities or the schools tool, webinars, then they can go to this know-how library and they can type in a tool, just one keyword will do, and then it will bring up a number of videos and guides. So here, the one that we would want to be looking at if a student is unsure of how to create their CV and how to use the tool is this, how to use the CV resume tool. The reason they say resume as well is because actually this is an international careers platform. So people in the United States use it as well, and other countries around the world. So hence sometimes you'll notice if you ever look on here that they'll talk about how you get into careers if you're studying in another country. So you would just look at the guide, and then it will literally step by step take you through how to use the tools. It will tell you what tool to click on, and then what to put in each section within the CV tools. It will tell you that you need a bit of personal information for the personal profile at the top, and then it will tell them that they need to add various sections, and it will lay out the whole CV for the students. So they don't have to do any tabs. They don't have to sort of, worry about what to include. It's all here for them. And they can even get some advice from a teacher. They can get some feedback if they want to send it to a teacher, and they could send it to you as well. So that's how to use the CV resume tool. But there's also videos. So if somebody's unsure what they should put in a CV and how to create a great CV, they can watch a video about that, as well as read a guide. And it's just helping the student get confident in knowing how to do these things. The other thing I tell students is that they can put keywords in this know-how library. So, for example, if they want to find out more about skills, then it will bring up all the different types of skills that they might want to be talking about in applications and interviews in the future. And you can really help them to see, look, all these skills you can develop through studying subjects at school and doing things outside of school. And we're really keen on encouraging students to do extracurricular activities. So the other thing that students can do, is put in other keywords. For example, if they want to work in the computer sector, computer industry, IT industry, they can type in computer and it will bring up information guides about career specialisms, so they can find out, okay, what type of areas are there within IT, like programming and computer support, cybersecurity, building systems, etc. They can also learn about the skill of digital literacy. And what's really nice is they can look at employer profiles. And this can be really helpful for students just to learn about employers. Often they're very big employers, but it can be great just to help them understand what employers do and open their eyes to what kind of jobs are out there. There are even sort of top themes that students can look at. You know, for example, is AI a threat to our jobs? And they can really understand, well, what effect will AI have on jobs in the future? And it will have an effect. So it's helpful for students to sort of start looking into that type of thing as well. It talks about how students can get on the ladder. So this one's for IT and software development, but they have these type of get on the ladder for all sorts of other types of job sector and careers. So I'm just trying to think of other words. So even students can look up things like well-being, and they can find some really helpful information about mental health, etc. So that is a very useful tool to be able to use. And so that's the know-how library. Really, we want to encourage students to start recording activities that they've done. So it can be anything from an academic thing that they've done, so an academic activity, or something that they've done in their own time. And that can be something formal, a club that they attend, or it can be something more informal, that they're really good at fixing things and they fix something at home, or they made a computer. Students tell me all sorts of things that they do, and they're perfect for putting in this on this page. And they can give it a title, and they can also describe what skill they're developing, what particular activity they undertook, and they can link it to skills that they used in order to do that activity. And this is perfect for providing evidence for future applications and interviews. So I wish we had something like this when I was younger, and I just definitely would have started adding things to it, because it can help you when it comes to writing applications, because they can really take some time. So students can see also just how much they're progressing, and that it can really help them gain some confidence and see that they are growing as a person, growing as an individual, and that they're developing all of these skills. So going back to the skills tool, students can start to add different skills that they've done. You can see I haven't added any skills here on my page, but students can add a skill. So they can list what type of skill it is. And there are all sorts of things that they can add, including ones that aren't listed here. They can talk about what kind of situation they gained that skill, when they started, what year it was, and describe what it was that they did. Again, this is really powerful as evidence for applications and also preparation for interviews. And then they can just add that example, and it will begin to tot up all those different skills that they're developing. And I think this is really powerful and great for students' confidence. So the other thing that students can do is they can complete these profiles, and these are where students can begin to take quizzes to learn a little bit about themselves. So this is my quiz results, and so when a student does their quiz, it will bring up their results, and they can really begin to see, okay, well, where am I strong? What kind of areas am I strong in? So artistic and social, or is it that I'm really good at being investigative? And for some students, it will be really sort of, you know, clear what type of skills and interests that they have at a glance. And based on this, students can then, based on their results, they can then look in the careers library and see what careers are linked to the type of interests that they have. They can also look into subjects that link to the interests that they have. And they can favourite ones that they think, oh yeah, I really like the sound of these jobs, and they can read the profile for that particular job. And if they really like the look of it, they can favourite it. And they can then look up their favourites in the favourite section. So that's a great tool as well. And I love the personality profile. So this is based on Myers-Briggs personality test. So people around the whole world do this careers test, or this personality test, should I say. And I always explain to the students that they'll come out with 4 letters. These are the 4 letters that they really need to remember, because they are their Myers-Briggs results. This is just a way of helping them remember, you know, what type of personality they have, and they'll either be a frog or a toad because it's Unifrog. But it explains, so the student will be able to read about their personality type and either agree or disagree with it. And if they disagree with it, they might want to retake the test, and that's absolutely fine because they can do that. The other nice thing is that they can look to see where they might be extrovert or introvert, and the percentages of these particular personality profiles. So for example, I'm an INFJ, so it's telling me that I'm 35% extrovert, 65% introvert, and so it goes on with all these different areas. And students can also look at different careers related to their personality type. And this is sort of based on research where they've discovered that, you know, people with these personality types tend to lean towards certain jobs. And they can then click on jobs that may or may not be of interest to them. And I think that's a really useful tool as well. They can do exactly the same with the subjects as well, so they can look at subjects that might suit them based on their personality type. So this is great for students if they're really feeling quite stuck and just want some inspiration. And then they've got the work environments profile, and this is where it shows students what they might really like in a work situation and what they might dislike. And this can be useful for helping them see jobs that may or may not suit them. Again, they can go to the careers library and see what kind of jobs might suit them based on their work environments profile, but also they can see, okay, well, maybe that I have some weaknesses that I might need to work on. You know, so for example, you know, disagreeable situations, they might say, okay, yeah, perhaps I need to work on resolving conflict, or that type of thing. So so there may or may not be things that they can look at there in terms of their strengths and weaknesses. So the other thing that I'd like to point out to you is I think the careers library would be the best one next. So students can either put in school subjects that they're considering studying. It might be 3 A levels or an applied level afterwards, or it could just be one subject that they might put in this keyword bar, or it might also be something like a particular job sector. So as an example, I'm just going to type in English. Actually, let's type in art. And then click go, and it will show all the jobs related to art. You'll notice here it's got martial arts instructor, and that's purely because the word art is flagged up. but students will be able to see, oh yes, no, that's not maybe what I'm interested in. I'm interested in doing something related to the subject of art, and they can begin to see jobs that perhaps they hadn't considered before. They didn't realize that these jobs were related to art. Again, sort of bartender, cartographer, that's purely because it's got the word art within the title there. So yeah, you can actually see that there are different ways that you can explore subjects, but you can also look at job sectors. So for example, if I type in law, then students can see different jobs related to law potentially, and you know, they might see these ones that are very well known in terms of the legal professions like barrister and solicitor, but there might be other jobs that they hadn't considered that link to the subject of law, including sort of police work and people in other roles that may link to law in some way. So that's very useful as well. And so as an example, let me actually look up one of the job profiles. So I'm going to look up barrister. And lots of students are really interested in law now, in criminology, that type of thing. So I get a lot of interest in this. But yeah, barrister is one particular role. It's different from being a solicitor, and this it explains within the job profile the differences. So students, if they're interested in going into a legal profession, they can look up barrister, because they could also look up solicitor or paralegal. And there are other jobs as well that they could consider. So it gives an overview of what a barrister does. So it just says barristers give specialist legal advice and represent people in court. In some countries, there is no separation between this and the solicitor role, but here in the UK, there is. So it explains what a barrister does. And so it gives a list of things that they might do day to day. Then they can look at the type of hours that they might work and the type of environment that they might work in. So for example, they work in a court, and sometimes they might work outside of the court in sort of law offices. And it talks about how people can progress within their career, and also the skills required. Entry requirements, so it explains here, it will always explain what requirements there are for the UK. So it states here the process for becoming a barrister in the UK. And then there are some great guides that students can look at. So they can look at how, for example, how to write a personal statement for law for university. Bear in mind that is actually changing, so we're not going to be doing personal statements beyond this year, I don't think, so for university, but that will all be updated. You know, how students apply in the future, that will be updated on Unifrog, and students will exactly know what they need to do. It talks about the LNAT tests that a handful of universities require if you want to study law at university, about becoming a barrister in England and Wales. Talks about career specialisms within law, how to get into law, human rights. So all sorts of things that students can click on to learn more, as well as subjects that may be related to that subject. So a student might think, oh yeah, I want to sort of go and study law, or a different subject that may be relevant, and then they can look at the job. They can look at the job profile for solicitor and compare the two roles. So if we were to click, then if they thought, yeah, I really want to go to university to study law, we can go to UK, or they could look at other countries as well. They can click on law alone, or they can look at other subjects alongside law. And then they can see what kind of grades are required. So for example, you've got all the aspirational universities that want top grades like the A stars and the A's. Then you've got some that have more solid grades where slightly lower grade boundaries. And then those that have foundation years. And these foundation years are where students would pay for an extra year if they don't have maybe the right subjects or the right grades. But we have to be very careful with these foundation years. Not everybody is eligible for them, but the universities will lay out exactly who is eligible for those years. So yeah, and this is where I usually point out to students, oh look, there's a difference here. Look, they've got Bachelor of Arts, and you've got the LLB in law, and then you know, this is what I'll go through with students when I meet with them one-to-one. But I encourage students to look at different courses so that they can see what different requirements are required, sorry, by universities. So this is the Durham University. Gives you a bit of an overview about the Durham Law School. It tells the students what grades they would need. So these are top grades. It tells them what kind of subjects they might like, subjects that are excluded. So for example, general studies and critical thinking at A-level, they're excluded. We don't offer those at our sixth form. Not many sixth formers or colleges do offer those subjects anyway. They require the LNAT. And then it gives some data here about how that university is ranked overall by the Guardian Online University League Table, and it also ranks the subject for Durham University, sorry, that subject throughout the whole of the UK. So it's ranked 7th for law in the whole of UK. And it just gives some description of Durham. It's got a video, and students can go to the website, they can look at the open day, they can look at the course page, they can look at all sorts of information for that university. And then I would be encouraging students to look at other universities as well, just ones that might have slightly lower grade boundaries. Let me just whiz down. So Suffolk might have slightly lower grade boundary. Let's have a look. Yes, so they want BBC. And they'll tell you what kind of grades they even want at GCSE. So this can help students in year 10 and 11 look forward to see, okay, what kind of grades do I need if I want to go to university? And the same, exactly the same for apprenticeships. And if the students think, yeah, I like the look of all of these universities, they can save them. If they don't like the look of that one, they can delete it, and then they can save them and shortlist them. So just going to hover over that, and then you can see that students can go to the website, go to the course page, and find out more information within this particular page. So yeah, that is the, oh, I hope you saw that actually. Sorry, I don't know, because I went on to another page. Did you all see that? Apologies if you didn't, but I'm just going to whiz back. Can you see what I'm sharing now? Yeah. Thank you very much. That's great.
No problem.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you another of the tools, which I think is quite useful. And this is the apprenticeships tool. Now, I am going to be doing a talk about apprenticeships on the 7th of November, so please book up for that. And we've got an actual apprentice coming in to, well, going to be talking to us virtually online. And I think that will be really helpful to hear from him, but also we're going to have a look at how you search for apprenticeships. And this might be for students who are in year 11 or in year 13. So if I just click on that link, what you can do, these are all standards. So essentially it's they used to be called frameworks, they're now called standards, and it's essentially an area within which you would do an apprenticeship. So if I were to say all these different subjects here, or different standards that you can do an apprenticeship in. There are still some jobs that you can't do apprenticeships in. At the moment, that's medicine, but I have heard that they are due to bring in a degree apprenticeship for medicine at some point. So I never thought I'd see the day, but it is happening, which is really exciting. So I'm just going to show an example here of IT. Let's just have a quick look at the apprenticeships that are within a certain distance of the Maiden Early School, because that is the postcode which is entered here, but you can change the postcode. And so within 10 miles of Maiden Early School, there are 3 vacancies at the moment. As you know, this is live, so that could change at any point. And you'll see here that you've got 3 different types of level of apprenticeship. You've got the intermediate, which is GCSE level. You've got the advanced level, which is the equivalent to A levels, and then the higher and the degree level. And then students can click on these opportunities and ones that they might be interested in. It depends on what year group they're in. Having said that, there are some companies that accept students for level 4 apprenticeships, even if they're still in year 11. So they can potentially apply, but usually you have to work through the different levels. So if you're doing GCSEs, the next level that you would do would either be a level 3 or possibly a level 2. And for those in year 13, it would be any level potentially. So they might not want you to do, say, for example, if you've done a particular subject at school, they might not want you to go back down a level if you've already got a qualification in that area. But usually you can look at higher and degree level apprenticeships in the same subject, or possibly even lower levels if you have never done that subject. Anyway, more about that on the apprenticeships evening. But you can see here, it tells you exactly where the opportunities are. It tells you all about the company. It tells you what level it is. Actually, it's not telling me up here. Usually it does tell you up here. It tells you what you would do every day or what the student would do every day. It talks about the application deadline. I think this is a bit, sometimes what we find is that the deadline date and the start date is a little bit unlikely. I think it would be unlikely that the deadline is the 31st of October and people will be starting on the 6th of November. So it might be that they're more looking at applicants from that time. And it tells students how much they could earn, how long the apprenticeship is, the hours per week that they would be required to work. So it is a full-time job. And also the qualifications that they need. So they're saying they want maths and English at grade 4 and that they want these skills. And then students can either save these opportunities or they can delete them if they're not interested. I imagine that this is probably, yeah, it's an advanced level. So that's an A-level equivalent qualification. And then, yeah, as you can see, there's lots and lots of information. So if students are going for these level 4 qualifications, they might mention that they want level 3 qualifications, but not always. So yeah, and students can save these vacancies, and again, they can shortlist them just like they can for the universities as well. So going back to the homepage, I do show students the college and sixth form tool. However, it's not perfect because not all of the sixth forms and the colleges upload data. So students might look on here and think, oh, great, I can look to see if, such and such a college offers accounting. And because it's not listed, they might think it's not, that it's not offered. But actually it's just that perhaps that college or sixth form haven't uploaded the data onto this website. So, but let's just give an example. So students can click on a subject this way, or they can type in a subject. So let's just put law in, and they can look at law and criminology, and then they can see the number of places within a certain distance of this school, but they could change the, you can change the postcode, as I said. And they can look to see, okay, which sixth forms and colleges offer law, and they can see that information there. But you have to be, but I always warn the students, be very, very careful, because you don't want to be caught out. So if you really want to go to a particular sixth form and college and it's not mentioned here that they offer law or whatever, then you would just check on that sixth form or college website as well, just as a insurance policy, really. Okay, so I'm just trying to think if there are any others that might be really useful. I think, yeah, so students can look up universities. Let me just quickly show you that one as well. So for example, they would say which country they wish to study in. So I'm just going to stick to England for now. They can add the types of grades and subjects they're studying. So it doesn't have to be an A level. It can be a BTEC qualification. It can be a T level. And then they can put what type of grade they're expecting to get, or the number of points, UCAS points, that they're expecting to get. And then they can move on to the next section and find out, and it takes us back to this page. Just another way really of looking to see what you can study. And students can add other subjects, you know, we might look at joint honours or single honours, and then they can look to see, again, it's just another way of searching as opposed to going through the job profile. Okay, I think that's probably everything that would be good to show you at the moment.